Let's try that one. Is that one working? Yay! Welcome one and welcome all to the Star Citizen stream. It's Friday afternoon here in the UK and it's time for gently chilling out as we approach the weekend. This is definitely the civilised end of the week. Just slowly creeping towards the weekend. Apologise for you in time zones that are behind the UK because you've still got most of Friday to go, but you'll get there. You'll be all right. It'll be okay. You'll make it. It'll be fine. Dear. So yes, here we are, in a rather stormy actually looking UK at the moment. Might get a clash of thunder or something in a minute. I have to put up with that, but see how it goes. Apologies for busting your eardrums as well, by the way. It's something I did last night while sorting out the Elite Dangerous stuff and mucked up the desktop audio. So there we go. So you got a long weekend for Les Graham. That sounds really good. Yeah, long weekends are definitely the best type of weekend. In fact, weekends should last forever, I've decided. Yeah, none of this work business. Don't want any of that. Just give me the money. That would be awesome. Anyway, right, we ought to do the thing because the thing is the thing. The thing must be done. And we haven't done a Star Citizen stream for a long time, it feels, because of holidays and other shenanigans. And alas, my dear citizens, this is my last Star Citizen stream for some time. And in fact, an interminable amount of time because I don't know precisely when I shall be able to stream again. For those of you who don't know, I'm moving house. We're actually putting the house on the market this coming Monday. So the entire place is now, as you can see, virtually empty. made completely vanilla in order to attract buyers in, because buyers don't like clutter apparently. So everything's been put away and everything's been tidied up and everything's been looking very, 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 very sanitized. But anyway, never mind. That's my world. Who have we got in the chat? We must do the thing. Dr. Quest MD is here. Look at Dr. Quest MD getting in there at 9 minutes past 3. That's just like crazily keen. That's almost an hour ago. So well done to Dr. Quest MD for that one. Top Shot is in second place with a pretty impressive 15:17 time. But yeah, unfortunately nobody can push Dr. Quest MD out of the to the number one slot today. So congratulations to Quest MD for getting the first place. Starwhite81 is here as well. Zex81 is here. Always good to see you. Have a Boo Boo is here with the 4 thumbs up. Always good to see you, sir. Electro Rapture is here. The funny asteroid here because, as we know, it's never a good space game without a funny asteroid. NDP783 is here. An excellent space pilot, by the way, NDP783, as he proved aboard the Starship UFNS, can't remember now. You were to see the other week. That was very cool. Top Shot is here as well. General Failure is here. Excellent name. Biff Boy 81 is here. Commander Sonek is here. Myon Toxin is here. Eridan Dun Dragoning is still doing Duns to Dragons, whatever that might mean. Leslie Graham is here. I'm here, which is a bit weird. Zalos Corvus is here as well. Abstract Play is here. Stephen Usher is here. Hello from rainy Cornwall. Is it raining down in Cornwall? I think that rain is on its way here to Kent as well. So good to see you, Stephen Usher. Necromantic is here as well. Oh, it's Canada Day. Hey, Canada Day. So you get a day off. Awesome. That's the way to do it. So hopefully not too long. Well, we will have to wait and see. I've got after this I've got 2 more streams left. I've got my retro stream tomorrow where we're gonna hopefully deal with the I can't remember what the baddies are called in Descent Free Space. What are they called? The Scythians or the Vasudans or something. So, yeah, the aliens. We're going to be dealing with them, hopefully, once and for all on the retro stream. And then Monday we're having just a chilled out writer stream, the last one for the time being. Because yes, alas, after that, the house will be available for people to come and kind of look at and do things. So moving far, will I still come to Hazard? Alas, no, I don't think I'll be able to even come to the Hazard because, Talon, because I'm moving to Scotland. That is the plan. So yes, it's going to be a long move. So all quite exciting, but a bit of a pace of life change and a complete change of everything, really. So there we go. So alas, I won't be able to. I am planning to come back to streaming, but that depends on a lot of things. A, finding a house. B, having an internet connection, and a bunch of other stuff. And of course, I don't know when that's going to be. that's the main problem. So I can't give any timescales for you guys. So you'll just have to stay tuned on Discord and Twitter and Facebooks and things. And yes, I've got to learn. I've got to learn some Scottish as well. Zoe1, that was a good stream last night. Thank you very much, by the way. Oh, Shivans, there we go. Yes, thank you so much to so many people who turned up for Michael Brooks' Memorial Law Tour. It was lovely to be around fellow commanders again. That was good. That was a nice moment actually. I feel that the Elite Dangerous community did Mr. Brooks proud. So nice to be part of that as well. I'll miss your absolutely sorted car. Big fan of my supercharged MX-5, yes indeed. Right, so let's get into the game because it's going to be interesting actually. Playing Star Citizen, having just come off, as it were, Elite Dangerous for a little bit because I did find Elite Dangerous a bit bewildering, to be honest, because so much stuff had changed since the last time I played it. I didn't know anything was. Lots of things like, well, where do you switch on the wing beacons? And apparently they're just on now. And there's lots of other little things like that, which just shows you the game has changed quite a bit in the sort of 2 years since I last played it. I couldn't, there were various bits and pieces. I can't say I found the menus very easy to work out, but I got there in the end. Unfortunately, the ships flew in pretty much the same way, so that was okay. But it was a bit weird playing Elite after having played Star Citizen because, of course, what Star Citizen, and I know I only played the Horizons version of Elite, not the Odyssey version, but one thing that strikes you is the how Star Citizen is so much more focused around being the person rather than being the ship, which Elite has always been mostly about the ship, and only latterly has been about being an individual person. Yeah, it felt a bit, I don't know, claustrophobic isn't quite the right word because you're still in a big spaceship and doing big spaceshipy things. I don't know, it's just a different game. I suppose that's the end of the day, isn't it? It's a different game. Right, before I go any further, let me just put my stream coordinators on so they can hear me. So hopefully that will work. Oh, and my game is instantly busted. Don't you just love Star Citizen? Well, while I figure that out, let me just say a thank you to my stream coordinators, who are this evening. Dr. Quest MD is here, and for some reason my Discord seems to have shrunk its thing. I can see Lumpsace is there, and I can see somebody beginning with T, which I assume is Top Shot, and somebody beginning with F, which I assume is Funny Asteroid, but I can't actually see their names. So apologies if that's not right, but I think it is. So thanks guys for being my stream coordinators. The stream coordinators have been hugely useful in my time in Star Citizen, basically giving me up to the second device, because of course the problem with the stream is there's a lag of like 15 seconds or at best. So usually I've either done something really bad by the time they intervene. So they've been really helpful. So I appreciate you guys. Thank you very much for popping in there. Right, did that just go bang then? It just crashed. Head back to the menu as it was a bad lobby. We're going to try the party launch again, Drew. Excellent. We'll start again in a second. Excellent. Good. Thank you very much, guys. That was a different crash than normal. Hey, at least we're getting some variety, right? Sadly, a lot of issues today. So I didn't have any particular plans today. I thought, given it's my last stream for a bit, I'd like to go and just see some pretty stuff. So I'm thinking of picking out some of my favourite locales in Star Citizen and just having a kind of eye candy kind of a stream, if that makes sense. It seems today is a bit of a rough day to be prepared. Okay, we'll bear that in mind. So if we can get back into the game. We had great plans, but that went sideways, so your idea works. Okay, fair enough. If the game is having a tough time, then maybe it's best that we don't try and stress it too much. Starbot says, I've been playing consistently all week, and it's been smooth most of the time, so the moment Drew starts streaming it goes wrong. Let's see how it goes, shall we? Let's see how it goes. I had the same experience, but today it's been dreadful. Well, maybe it's the Friday. Maybe that's the problem, isn't it? What can we do? Hey, what can we do? But we're just going to have to think. Yeah, so I do. Now, I noticed that I had to reset my character again when I logged in. Although I'm standing up this time, I'm not asleep. That's interesting. I've come back to the same spot I was standing. So was that a sort of... Was that a server thing? Not that it makes a great deal of difference because I've walked like about 10 feet. But that's... the elusive 30k recovery, it did kind of work. So, okay. Anyway, let's move forward. So, let's get ourselves out of here. So, yeah, I'd like to have. So, questions before I go too far. While I'm wondering, why can't I hear anything? By the way, oh, it's because I've got my volume up so I can hear. Oh, it's night time here on. I am in. Oh, I'm in Orison, aren't I? I can see Limsace downstairs. So, let's call the elevator. Blame Canada. That's a bit mean. The Canadians, we're good at apologising. Oh, there's General Failure looking very stern. Oh, getting into the same lift as me. Excellent. Here we are on the ground floor. Very nice. Still amazed at the detail in this game. Just does look insanely pretty. Let's see how it holds together. So yeah, I had to regenerate my character, but I'm assuming monies wise and things we're still where we were. So talk to me a little bit about where we are with, because I've been out of the loop for a few weeks, where we are with updates and progress and potential wipes. Because I've always hung off in Star Citizen bothering to make too much money for two very good reasons. One, you guys often gave me a whole stack load of money anyway, so which was jolly nice, so thanks for that. But more seriously, for two, because obviously nothing's permanent, at least not for very long. And so if you do get something, like you spend some money on the ship and you add it to your fleet, then it can be taken away from you, of course, because it's not a prepared game. So is that something that's still going to continue? Because I mean, obviously, as you know, my go-to ship is Limsace. Look at this. These are the guys anyway. Periscopes, Limsace, Top Shot, and General Failure are all here, which is cool to see. Thank you guys for turning up. Obviously, the starter package that I bought included the Cutty Snark, as I like to call it, the Cutty Black, and there's Starwald, hello, and here comes ZX81. I saw Dr. Quest MD's tag somewhere, but he looks like he's 57 million miles away, so we'll doubtless we'll see him at some point. Most other people are here, which is cool. So is money now permanent, or is money still subject to being reset? Because I'd like to, spend some time playing the game to get my Constellation Phoenix. It's still subject to reset, so arguably it's still a problem. Okay, so we're not at the point yet where it's worth grinding a lot, depending on how much you enjoy playing the game. Because unlike Elite, by the way, guys, we'll head to the spaceport while we're here. So everything is still subject to reset. Nothing is completely permanent. There'll be a new station above Crusader when we come back, probably, but more platforms, Orison missions, maybe the Space Whales. Okay. Wipes will still happen for quite some time. This is an alpha, but can they develop quiz? Oh, so they can wipe different bits. Okay, well, that makes sense. I see. So it's interesting because obviously in Elite, the game chucks money at you now, which is quite useful for players like me who don't really have a vast amount of time. But I tend to, in space games, there tends to be usually only one or two ships that I actually go, yep, those are the ones I want. And in Star Citizen so far, the Cutty Snark, or the Cutty Black, shall I say? I keep calling it the Cutty Snark because I think it's funny. The Cutty Snark was the one that jumped out of me as the only kind of ship that I wanted that was down at the basic levels. The Constellation Explorer is the one that I like kind of in the mid... Is it a mid-range ship? I suppose it's a mid-range ship. That's the one I rather like as a kind of exploration ship. So when the game expands, we get other star system stuff. The Constellation Phoenix is the one I want to be doing that gameplay in. and is that the Aquila? I'm not sure. I thought it was the Phoenix, the luxury one. Basically, the one that looks cool, all white, nice shiny paint. That one. That's the ship I want to have, and I know that's about 3 million credits, or 6 million credits. I can't remember. It's a fair number of credits. You can obviously buy it with external cash, but it's pretty stupidly expensive, so I'm not doing that. Phoenix is for the parties. Yeah, so Phoenix is the one I want. Yeah, the Aquila. Yeah, if you're going to travel in style, right, you've got to do it properly. That's my view on it. So that's the ship I want. But given my limited time, there's no point me sort of grinding up the cash for it and then finding out that that's being wiped again, because that sort of effectively invalidates a lot of time in the game until such point as the game is going to be stable enough that your credits. Things, and it does, and like you say, it's got the rover in it, and it's got the little dropship. I mean, for me, it's the perfect spaceship because it looks cool. It looks like a spaceship. It's got white paint, and you'll probably notice from my Elite Dangerous stream yesterday that I ended up in the cutter. Originally, the Imperial Clipper was my go-to ship, but I ended up actually doing the grind for the cutter in the end because I just liked the look of it. I thought, well, it's the ultimate ship for me. I never bothered with the Federal Corvette, but the cutter I really liked, and so there's usually one ship I fixate on. In Elite, it was obviously the Cobra Mark III. I was quite partial to the Crate Mark II. I got one of those, and obviously the Clipper and the Cutter were my two ships because they looked the coolest as far as I was concerned. So cool looks play a lot in my spaceship experience. And in Star Citizen at the moment, I like the Cutty Black because it's just like a sort of Firefly-esque sort of a ship, but the Constellation Phoenix is the one that I look at and go, yeah, that's the ship I'd like. It's big enough to be useful, but small enough to be kind of not like stupidly large and require a massive crew to fly it. And it's got, like you say, like the cool add-ons, the little rover and the little dropship and stuff. And that's the sort of ship I can see myself tooling around the Star Citizen universe, just, mucking about doing this, that and the other. So that's the ship I want to have. But until such time as I can kind of keep it, it doesn't seem worth, investing too much time in the grind. Because, it's going to get, look at that. Oh, this is what I love about Star Citizen. Look at that. Just up there. Look, in the night sky. There's a planet up there. Must be one of the, it can't be one of the, must be one of the moons. Doesn't that look nice? Just sort of little rosy red moon sitting over there. That's cool. Like that. Oh, zoom in. Yeah. Okay. Hang on. You might have to remind me how I zoom in. Let's just hang over the balance straight here. What's F, isn't it? Oh yeah, look. It's just a little red. Now I don't know if that's red. Is that red because it's red out in space, or is it red because we're looking at it through the atmosphere of this planet? Don't know. If you can see it, you can fly there. Yeah, so maybe we're just going to have a look. Yeah, get the old spaceship out. Go and have a look. The interiors of this game are just staggeringly good. They still make my jaw drop in terms of what the game can do. They just look fabulous. And little details like you can see the reflections there, the banners, the advertising. It just feels like a real place. It's not a cookie cutter environment. It's just so nice. So the ASOP is busted. Okay. We might have to relog. See that? Yeah, and see that mountain. We might have to. Let me just try and see if I have any luck.
Welcome to the ASOP vehicle retrieval system.
It says it's here. Vehicle is now being delivered as unreach your location. Delivery time is 0. But it's not working. So it's busted. Oh dear. Let's hit the menus. Well, I got as far as being able to get the menu, but it's not.
Welcome to the ASOP vehicle retrieval system.
It's not coming through, is it? Oh, no, it just goes back there, so it doesn't seem to be working. Never mind. So what, do we just quit to the menu? Is that something that you guys do for me, or do I just do it manually myself? And with a bit of luck, we'll reappear here. Okay, so manual, so exit to menu. All right then, here we go. So it's going to be a long time. See, it's been interesting. I've been following Star Citizen now, or been streaming Star Citizen for like 18 months, I think. About 18 months? Yeah. Possibly a little bit more than 18 months. And it's made some significant progress in that time, but you know, it's still an alpha, isn't it? It's still, you know, it's still not a game that you can put a lot of time into because of all the resets and stuff. And a lot of stuff has been changed in that time, and it's improved immensely in terms of stability, you know, and the content that's been chucked into it. But I don't know. I mean, we're still waiting, aren't we, for a roadmap that takes us to a playable game. And while there's a lot to play, I think the biggest issue for me in terms of doing stuff in this universe, because you can have little bits of fun, you know, a stream length's worth of fun is quite good, but we can't do a sort of sustained campaign very easily, you know, because of course everything might get reset. The ability ultimately for there to be persistent objects and things in the game long term is hugely impressive, but yeah, we need to get to like a gamma stage rather than alpha stage, I think, in order to enjoy that. So Star Citizen's roller coaster. There are great years and there are rocky ones. So in terms of the server, I'm quite happy for you to try whatever you think is appropriate. Let's see what happens. People are having a ruminate. So yeah, so I mean, huge potential. It's going to be interesting actually, because of course the big thing that is being discussed everywhere right now is Starfield, isn't it, by Bethesda. ZX81 is now taking over as party leader. Congratulations on your promotion there, ZX81. You know, what is the launch of Starfield going to do to the space sim gaming community? Because I mean, I don't know about you, but I tend to, you know, I've got limited time for gaming at the best of times. So when a game comes out, I tend to focus on that one quite a bit, to the exclusion of others. I mean, it's not to say that I won't go back and play the others, but you know, particularly when there's a brand new space game. You know, is it going to drag a huge share of the limelight away from the existing sort of established games? I don't know. I mean, we could argue that Starfield isn't quite the same, not quite the same subgenre as these games. And arguably, these games kind of define their own spaces, don't they? A bit. You know, there are obviously people like me who play or have played Elite Dangerous, Star Citizen, No Man's Sky, but some people tend to find it much more. They don't like one, or they just concentrate on one to the exclusion of the others. But I can see myself when Starfield comes out going, "Ooh, shiny new space game, squirrel, ooh," and tromping off over there and going, "Oh, this could be quite good." Can I try joining the leader? I can try joining the leader. Oh, there we go. The screen has gone black. And games are so much more complicated now than they ever used to be. It's interesting on the retro stream. We've been playing back through, you know, classic games of yesteryear in the 90s, and we get about 6 to 12 good streams out of those classic games, and then we've played the single player campaign all the way through, and if they've got multiplayer we might try a couple of rounds or something, and you get like about 14 decent streams, so that equates to about 28 to 30 hours of gameplay, which I suppose for a game is alright. But if you compare and contrast that with No Man's Sky or Elite Dangerous or Star Citizen, you know, we've been playing these for years and we're still finding new things to do, right? So these games have far more replayability, if that's the right word, than some of the older ones in that sense. The older ones are still fun to play, but you know what's going to happen. Whereas in these big complicated games, you know, you can create your own stuff for your own organisations, your own fun to a certain extent beyond the thing. But Starfield, of course, is going to be a single player game. Oh, now we're back. We've got to walk all the way across again. This stream might be all about catching the elevator and catching the catching the lift and catching the catching the tram across town. So if you're looking for great excitement from this evening's stream, you may be sorely disappointed. What we have done is we have done a very nice scenic tour of Drew's favourite places in Orison so far. So here we are looking around the hotel accommodations, jolly nice. I think we should just look over the balcony. Here we are. It is Orison at night time. That's nice. Oddly enough, this is the first place. It's oddly thinking about it. It's oddly appropriate that I should be here, in Orison, on this my last immediate stream, because this is where I first logged into Star System. The first time I ever tried Star System on the free fly events, just to see if my old PC could cope with it. And stream at the same time, and reasonably impressed that it could. It wasn't perfect, but it was okay. So yeah, it is slightly appropriate that I'm here again. Anyway, let's see if we can go and see some other stuff. I've called the elevator. There we go. So Starfield will be great, but it isn't Star System. No, so. Star System has got this, seamless everything, really, hasn't it? Seamless, absolutely seamless everything. Single player, plant landing, loading screen. It's like taking the icing of a cake but leaving the cake itself sweet but lucky. Yeah, so it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out. I think it's going to be more story driven and single player campaign than, Star System. That's not what Star System is. So actually, no, I can sneak out the hotel here at the back entrance, can't I? Let's do that. All right. Okay, everyone back to the spaceport. Let's see if we can commandeer a ship. Oh, there's an invisible lady there, I think. She's totally disappeared now. I can see her shadow. She's phased out of our universe. That looks a bit weird, doesn't it? Okay, so there's still a few bugs going on. Let's open the back door. There we go. There's the motley crew again. Let's try getting back on board. Oh, some of them have jumped on board the ship. That's quite cool. We'll catch the next train. There we are. So ASOP is working on this server. That's good. So Starfield is going to be a more directed gaming experience. So I think it's nice to have competition. Of course, the advantage that a new game has coming into this arena is that, Star Citizen and Elite Dangerous, in some ways, you could argue are. Old hat is not the right word, but you know what I mean. They've been around for a while, haven't they? So they've all got a bit of the legacy of their development in themselves. So Elite Dangerous and Star System came out. The initial Kickstarters and things were around the same sort of time, weren't they? And playable games have been around for many years now for both of those games. Not quite sure what's happening to General Failure there. Oh no, he's back over there. Looks like some of the guys didn't get onto the train for some reason. We'll find out. And they are a product of the technology that was around back then. So obviously things have improved over time, and new graphics capabilities have been included. But you can't rewrite all of the game all of the time, can you? So you have to live with a certain amount of legacy code in your space simulation, and I think that's something that sometimes slows the development of these games down. No Man's Sky is a sort of exception to that process, because it seems to be almost evergreen. No Man's Sky. Maybe it's just got a simpler infrastructure, and maybe the fact that its graphics aren't quite so high definition helps. They can, but they seem to have a very small and agile development team. They seem to be very slick at what they do, which is cool. But we've seen, I think Elite Dangerous, for example, isn't using the latest version of DirectX at the moment. I don't know about Star System. Maybe you guys could tell. You probably know more about technology than me. But there is that maintenance of legacy code that inevitably builds up over time. But Starfield, of course, is brand new. Now, I don't know what technology Starfield is going to be built on. Whether it's using a standard game engine such as Unity or Unreal, or whether it's something bespoke in house. I don't know if anybody knows. It's a good question actually. But they'll have a technology head start to a degree because they'll just be using newer tech. I haven't seen any system specs for Starfield actually. Does anybody know what it's going to require to run on? Okay, so it's Zalos Corva says it's an updated creation engine, same as the older Skull and Fallout games. Some people are saying Unreal Engine. Okay. Starfield is on the old engine they used to make out of Fallout and Scum. Okay, so is that an in-house engine then, or is it based on something else? Is that Moon still there? Oh, Biff Boy. Odd enough, Biff Boy is on the moon by the look of it. So that's quite cool. Let's see if we can get a ship. So it'd be interesting to see what sort of system specs they have. But if they're not simulating a whole universe in the same way that, for example, Elite is, and they're not hosting vast multiplayer servers like Star Citizen does, then it's not going to be nearly as sophisticated in terms of the back-end stuff. It just doesn't need to be. So it's all going to be down to the eye candy, I guess. Right, let's get my ship together. Will it work? There's my cutlass black. Can I have my ship, please? Looking good. Yay! It's in Hangar 5. Right, so anybody who wants to voyage with me, come to Hangar 5. If you have your own ship, bring your own ship. That's no Moon, it's Biff Boy, yeah. Periscopes isn't here. I'm going to Hangar 5. I don't know where you guys are going. So this is my stop. Hey, his top shop. There's my ship. My glorious Cutty Snark. I hope it's just my ship in the hangar. Well, it's here anyway, that's the main thing. My long-suffering spaceship, actually. We've been through quite a bit through this. We've done space burials in this. Given this is the last stream, actually, of my Star Citizen for a while, we should do that. I've always been promising that we should jump out of the ship while we're in Quantum Tribe. I'm feeling today is the day I should do that. So I think maybe towards the end of the stream I'm going to try that. I'm not going to do it now because I don't know what's going to happen, but I think I think I may try that. But I'll give you fair warning. So if you want to abandon ship, before I do anything stupid, then do let me know. But yeah, chucking yourself out of the spaceship in quantum travel does sound like something that you ought to try once in your career, doesn't it? Right, okay, so we are aboard the ship. Let's get it fired up. Engines are on. Ship instrumentation on. I have to say, coming out of having just been playing Elite Dangerous yesterday and then coming back into here, this feels like an entire what's the word I want? Order of magnitude, that's the word I want. Order of magnitude more like a sim. Okay, this makes me feel like I'm in a proper working starship. Whereas Elite Dangerous is fine. It's got lots of stuff that's good to do, and I like all the dynamics in Elite Dangerous starships. But this feels more like a real starship. There's buttons to press and things to do, and and I love that the interactivity is so much more immersive. I do like that. So, and some lovely design touch like this. This Moby glass is such a nice idea to integrate the menus into your visual field by using your hand. I think it's a great idea. Really, really clever piece of thinking. That. Right, what do I want? I've done this for a while. Comlink. There we go. Horizon landing services. That's all. So, if in my ideal space game, I would take most of the, the dynamics from Star Citizen, to be honest, I might take a bit of Elite Dangerous's flight model because I kind of like some of the stuff that Elite Dangerous does a little bit more than the way that the spaceships fly in Starships, but not that I'd be all that bothered about it. But so I'd take all the interactivity and all the first person and clambering on board ships and all that sort of stuff. Star System does that far better than anybody else does. But I'd want the realistic galaxy from Elite Dangerous. To be able to take my Star Citizen spaceship and fly it around the galaxy of Elite Dangerous would just be perfect, right? I would always want to have that. That's just the ability to go, that star over there, let's go check it out, guys. That is probably the thing about Elite Dangerous that I would miss the most. If Starfield could get that, it would be superb. So ED's graphic engine does look old. It does actually. It looks. I mean, it's been improved. The EDH, the live version, as opposed to the legacy one, is now got in for undercarriage.
Thank you.
Let's go. Now that moon over there is looking pretty enticing. So what is that? Shall we go over there? So ET and Star Citizen overlap, but also have a very different main focus. It looks out of scope of SC to have the exploration game loop in Starfield. Yeah, you see, I do love that whole pushing back the frontier and going into uncharted space that ED does quite well. But unfortunately, with Elite Dangerous, there's nothing to. Even if you're really enthusiastic about exploration in Elite Dangerous, other than getting some nice screenshots, at the end of the day, there isn't anything out there. Because the procedural generation aspect of Elite Dangerous was never developed enough to make it create stuff. If you're cruel to Elite Dangerous, which is a bit unfair really, but all that there is out there is pretty different coloured planets, different coloured surfaces, and a scattering of cookie cutter plants, and that's as far as the procedural generation has gone. It was always my biggest disappointment because the whole key thing about Elite back in the day was that procedural generation was the magic that could generate content out of nothing. Now it's been proven to be very, very, very hard, right, to do that with procedural generation because you end up with the same stuff all the time. You just get an awful lot of the same stuff, and I don't think that's. I've said that's a criticism of this. That's not really fair because it isn't, because it's such a hard thing to do. Because you've got to give the procedural generation something a bit more sophisticated to work with. Otherwise, all it's going to come up with is lots and lots of very subtly different variations on the same thing, isn't it? But I always thought back in the day, right back in the early days of Elite Dangerous, well, Frontier is the company that did procedural generation with the original Elite. They did that magic by cramming 2,000 planets into a 48K 8-bit computer. So, what are they going to be able to do with a sophisticated modern PC? The mind boggles. But and David Braben was on record in the early Kickstarter videos of saying, the one thing I don't want is just barren surfaces with procedurally generated height maps. And if you're a bit cruel, you can say, well, there's an awful lot of barren planets out there, Mr. Braven, with procedurally generated height maps. I'm being a bit unfair because there are atmospheric planets and there's exobiology, there's all sorts of other stuff, all that kind of business. That wasn't atmospheric effect. Look, I'm pointing at that moon now, and it's coloured, more salmony sort of colour. So I'm going to go there because I can. So I'm going to go to Kellen, as that turned out to be. So we saw the moon from the planet surface. Let's go there because we can. And that's one thing. I remember when I first played No Man's Sky, and the fact that you had all those different kind of locales there. Now, No Man's Sky has been criticised by some for being cartoony. That's something I do object to because it's not. It's a stylistic choice. But the fact that you had caves and underground environments, and No Man's Sky is very good at doing that kind of slightly otherworldly weirdness. It doesn't take itself too seriously. It's not trying to be a hard, gritty sci-fi experience. let's find a base that we can get down there, because it's always nice to just... I'm going to quantum drive down to Gallet Family Farms. Let's just do a little bit of a tour. Let's just see what the surface of this moon is like. I'm not going to go too close to it because some of these places are really dodgy, aren't they? I've actually visited the canyon on Microtech. Yeah, so I'd like to go and do that. This is a dark side of the planet. I didn't really want to go on the dark side. I was hoping that would be on the bright side of the planet. Now we're too dark. Oh, it's kind of, we got some quite nice vistas there. Oh, the sun is literally just setting. Let's go back this way for a bit. I'm going to fly up a little bit and let the sun rise above the horizon. There we go. Well chosen destination. You can maybe find some needed free gear and some weapons. I wasn't going to land because I'm kind of doing eye candy tonight. I'm just trying to where was the external view. Look at, I mean, this is. Oh God, look at that. That's a pure sci-fi novel, isn't it? There's Orison there, where we were, and now this is the moon that we saw from the surface. And yeah, so I've lost my train of thought there a little bit, but you know what I mean. There are definitely things from Elite Dangerous that I would want in the perfect space game. Yeah, the galaxy being the key thing. But you want to be able to do something when you get there. And No Man's Sky brought base building and caves and underground things like that. And some of that sort of stuff, which in many ways makes it more compelling. But it has, if you want a serious sort of Star Warsy, Star Trekky kind of experience, No Man's Sky isn't quite right for that because it's a little bit more whimsical. It's a bit more, dare I say, fluffy. It's a great game, but it doesn't quite scratch the serious technical sci-fi itch, does it? Elite Dangerous came close to that with its exploration, but it doesn't have the sense of, I suppose, immersion and sense of actually being there that Star Citizen offers. I mean, you just look at the views that you get, and it's just insanely glorious. And the planet surfaces in Star Citizen, shame Elite Dangerous, really. I mean, an awful lot of people. I personally, look at my ship's even got massive damage. Did I scrape it on the way out, or was that just? What did I do there? Looks like it's been hit by a meteorite at the back. So, there's a, and I prefer the planets in Elite Dangerous, what I think is now called Legacy rather than Live, to the ones in the current instance. For the most part, some are better, but not most of them aren't. That surface. See, the surfaces in Star Citizen just look amazing. They look like places that can actually exist. And I know some of it is handcrafted, but some of it is procedure. I mean, there's a lovely little bit of cratering over there, and the colour formations there. They just look more like real exoplanet type landscapes to me, with my kind of astronomical hat on. So yeah, it looks like I scraped something on the way out. The damages look quite impressive, doesn't it? It looks like I've just got some space lurgy or something. That's quite good. I'm getting a little bit lower now. But you're getting varieties of trend. This looks like it's slightly, there's some volcanic activity in the dim and distant past on this moon, and there's a very, very faint suggestion of atmosphere, isn't there? So it just looks great. It looks really, really nice. It has a volcano. Oh, so there is a volcano. I better pull up. I'm getting a little bit close to the ground because it's not a very large moon. The surface just looks like something that could exist in my head, whereas in Elite Dangerous you're always conscious that it's kind of like a made-up, procedurally generated landscape. These ones just look better. I think what's been learnt over the last 10 years is if you mix procedural generation with crafting, you get a better result. Crafting everything, it just takes too long, right? It's just impossible. You can't people a big space with interesting detail if you craft everything, and it's just a road to nowhere. But if you can marry clever procedural generation with some very, very carefully curated and quite a bit of content, then I think you get the best of both worlds, literally. And this just, this planet, this is a fairly boring place in Star Citizen, but it still looks great. I've just noticed there's a bit of exposure management. So when I'm looking at the bright surface there, I can't see any stars. Well, I can just about see them. And when I pan away from the surface, the camera exposure adjusts so I can see the stars. That's quite nice. And when you're looking at the sun, then the stars fade out again as well. So yeah, there's sort of some exposure adjustment there, isn't there? There's another moon over there. Let's just, because we can see it, let's just go there, shall we? I'm going to get out of the external view and fly my ship around over there. And that is Yella. Well, we've been to Yella before. We know that one's got rings, haven't we? We've all had all sorts of trouble here. Let's engage. I can get the quantum drive to do its thing. There we go. So we're flitting between the moons here, which is quite nice. So I can't remember what Yella looks like. Has it got rings? Oh, I think you have a different planet. Oh yeah, this one has got rings. There we go. So quite a nice. There's the edge-on ring system. Yella's where where's that really dodgy place? That's in the rings of Yella, isn't it? Grim Hex, that's it. Right, let's try flying down to the surface of this planet. Just see what it looks like from the ground down there. There we go. See how that works. I do run at full throttle. Yes, I should really slow it down. There's no point running that fast in space, is there? Are you taking me around to the back side of the planet again? Oh no, you're not. That's okay. Okay, so we're going to get a nice view. Now, this is another thing that I like, because you can go down to the surfaces of all the planets in star systems. You get things like this, so you can see the rings arcing through the sky. And again, my astronomy hat comes on here because it's just so nice to be able to see. Is this where we drop the nuke? I think it might be. That place is going to be hostile. Okay, so I'm trying to stay away from the actual places. This just looks like a cool mountain range here, so I'm just going to fly down through the mountain range because I can. It's just eye candy. Don't want to crash my spaceship though, so I've got to be a bit careful. But look at the atmosphere thickening and the rings still visible in the sky. So I'll stay away from the actual POIs. But look at those mountains. See, they just look the sort of thing that could exist. They just look fabulous. Really sharp edge. So they're obviously brand new mountains. It just looks staggeringly good. And the sky there brightening to a shiny blue. And there's a bit of weather appearing now as we come down to the denser atmosphere. It just looks fabulous. You know, it just looks like you're flying through the Alps. Or maybe the Rocky Mountains or something. Turn the jump drive off. Yeah, let's go here. There we go. We can just see a little bit then, can't we? So let's fly up over there. Doesn't it just look amazing? Especially when you go to the external views. Just looks stonkingly great. And you can see the procedural generation working, but look at those, look at that erosion around the edge of that crater. That's, there's some, you've got, I mean, I don't know a vast amount of geology, but I know a little bit. And there's what I'm seeing in these landscapes makes me think, well, how did that landscape come to be? Because there's some evidence of geological processes going on. It just feels like a real place. It's really, really cool. And the cratering suggests that the landscape is a certain age. And when you don't have craters, of course, it suggests the landscape is that much younger. So, these mountains, and the fact that there's snow on there, and you can see the dunes down there. And, I could spend ages just flying around in this game, looking at stuff, which is just a lovely thing. Really, really nice. And doing missions and stuff, and just exploring and just having a look around at what's been crafted is great fun. So it's just a lovely landscape. It could be carbon dioxide snow. That's a good call, actually. It's got an atmosphere. I don't know what. See, that's what I want to be able to do. You know, that exploration arc, that exploration gameplay loop. You know, I don't want to be taking an exploration ship here and sampling the surface. What's the surface made of? What are the rocks made of? Maybe drill into a rock, take some samples, sample the atmosphere. You know, do all those sort of things. So I hope that Star System will have that sort of exploration dynamic at some point in time where we can do some sciencey stuff. I think No Man's Sky always did that rather well, in the sense that, you know, you could go down the surface, get your scanner out and scan things, and you get some pseudo-scientific data back. Right, it's all obviously made up, but it's quite compelling because it makes you feel like you're doing sciencey things. That might be Dr. Quest MD over there, sort of chilling around, flying around. So that's quite cool. But the surface just looks staggeringly good here, and the fact that we've got a little bit of weather, as you can see, but we've got the rings arcing into the sky, and they look correct. That's what they would look like. There we go. We've just found a clear spot in the weather over the mountains. It looks like an Arctic environment, doesn't it? It just looks amazingly good. So anyway, let's get back up into space, and we'll go and see some other stuff. It's just nice. It's just brilliant. If you like the phone, there's a lovely canyon run on Microtech. Let's do that. Croncy, hey, hello Croncy. First time chat from Croncy, and a raid of 111 people. Thank you very much. Welcome to Croncy and Go. Appreciate the raid, guys. Thank you very much for popping in. That's awesome. We are just this is a sort of celebratory Star Citizen stream where I am just cruising around looking at eye candy stuff, because I'm actually stopping streaming for a little bit next week because I'm moving house. So I'm just kind of going around some of my favourite cool places in Star Citizen, just enjoying what it looks like. So lovely to see you. Thank you very much for popping in. And if you just want to enjoy some eye candy in Star Citizen for the next hour or so, you've come to the right place. Right, let's get the thing. Let's go to, what are you talking about, Microtech? Are you saying there's a nice canyon on Microtech? Celebrating the streams will finally stop. Oh, thanks. Let's clear it. Why are all the planets appearing on the map here? Is that me, or is that? Let's try that again. Oh, there we go. Right, let's go to Microtech. There we go. And just tool around looking. Right, let's get. Are we up in space enough? We should be. It doesn't take too long. There's periscopes. Where is my? No, I've got to switch the drive. Where am I? Where is my? Normally it tells me. Why is it not giving me a hyperspace pointer? Sorry, a quantum drive. There it is. There. I know where I'm going. Well, it's not telling me. Anyway, that's where we're going. Microtech. Because Microtech is one of the prettiest places, obviously. It's always cool to go there. There we go. Let's leave the quantum drive is on. We're not moving. Okay. Quantum drive is off. What happened there? That was weird. Let's try that again. Did the route cancel? No. That was weird. First time track from control, undo, respool. Okay, I'll try that again. There we go. And off it goes. On my way to Microtech, but take ages on my quantum drive. So I've got a fast drive. I've got an XL1, I think, which is a bit heavy on fuel. So we might have to refuel at some point during the stream. We'll see how it goes. Let's check our progress. It should get us across there quite fast, which is good. Which of course gives me my chance to do the thing that I love doing while we're on our way to Microtech, which is to get out of my chair. Which should be why. while the ship is flying. This I still think is an amazing part of Star Citizen. The fact that the ship is doing something significant. Okay, it's actually you can still see the holograms. It's still flying itself. Okay, it's doing its thing. It's flying to Microtech. Whereas I can wander around inside the ship and press buttons and check things out and go to sleep, and it's just insanely good. Open doors and things like that. Look, there's a hatch. I can do things and open storage lockers and stuff like that is very, very cool. It makes the inside of the spaceship feel like a real place, which does stuff. There's Top Shot hanging around, and as you know, one of my favourite things is, let me just check I've got my helmet on, because I'm notorious at forgetting that. No, I have got my helmet on, I'm good. It's just opening the rear door and then staring out into infinity. And I'm not going to jump yet. No, I will. I'm going to jump at the end of the stream, because I think it's going to go above Top Shot as I can push him. Thanks. So but the fact that my spaceship is flying through quantum reality space here to make fast travel across the solar system, and yet I can just sort of stand here and look at it, I just think is someone's just nudged me. Who was that? Lim says. I got a real, actually when he did that, I got a real sense of I do not want to fall out of the ship. It's so immersive. It's really, really good. We are travelling through quantum space, and and you can open the nice thing about the Cutty Black. I've nicknamed the ship the Cutty Snark, by the way, for any any viewers are wondering what I'm talking about. The Cutty Snark. This is my name for this ship, having the ability to look out the side of a spaceship is such an important thing, actually. It's one of the things I like on the constellation Phoenix is that if you can look out the side, that really, for me, adds a massive, massive thing to the immersion in the game. Because when you're on so often when you're on a transport of any kind, right? If you're not the driver, like if you're on an airplane or something, right? I mean, most of us aren't airplane pilots, are we, right? Some of us probably are, but most of us aren't airplane pilots. So most of the time we're on an airplane, we're looking out the side windows, okay? So I tend to associate looking out the side windows of a thing, a bus or a plane or a car or something, with going somewhere interesting. So I don't know if it's like a psychological thing in my brain. Maybe you guys can associate with it, but having the Cutty Sark, sorry, not the Cutty Snark, the Cutty Black, and the constellation Phoenix with its windows on the side of the ship, just gives me the real sense of travelling and actually going somewhere interesting, because I'm looking out to the side and I'm not just looking out the front like I would be in a car or something like that. So I think that's just a nice aspect to these ship designs, that you can look out the side in this fashion. Now there should be a pretty damn good vacuum in here by now, but I think there's force fields in the Star Citizen universe that keep everything in, so that's quite good. But the side access is a big deal. I think I really like the ships that have side access. Before we get space claustrophobia. No, it's not claustrophobia. Whatever the opposite of claustrophobia is. I'm going to close and tidy up. And buttons to press. I love buttons to press. I think that's such a cool thing. Let's close the back one as well. And the physicalized cargo. Are we actually moving? I hope we are. Well, the numbers are coming down, so that's good. Let's go back to the bridge and find out. Agoraphobia. There we go. Don't listen to that voice that's telling me to jump. No, we'll do that later on. It's just such a nice experience. It makes flying around in this universe such a fun thing to do. Just in some ways, the missions and everything else that these games have, in some ways doesn't bother me, because I'm quite content just flying my ship around, making a little bit of money just to pay for fuel, right? And just enjoying the experience of flying a spaceship. Because as a kid, who didn't want to be a spaceship pilot, right? But we've been born several hundred years too early in the real world to play with anything that is even remotely approaching this kind of tech in the real life, and we're several hundred years too late to go exploring the actual real world, because everything's been explored. So we're stuck in this weird sort of era of humanity where everything that is accessible has been explored, and everything else is inaccessible because we don't have the tech to go there, right? So games like this are the only way for us really, unless you're kind of Elon Musk or who's the guy in charge of Amazon, the other guy, you know what I mean, to go into space and actually do cool things. So I rather like the whole, let's just tool around in space, because we can. Are we? That's a good question. Are we actually going anywhere? Well, we are. According to that, we're nearly there. So, born. There we go. Starbolt's got it exactly right. Bezos. There we go. Is FLW. Born too late to explore the world. Born too early to explore the galaxy. That's exactly where we are in current humanity. And the number one thing, Real Motican, there you go, is that everything is physicalized, and I love that. That's a really important game design criteria. If you want to explore, you can build a deep water sub. Yeah, well, that doesn't normally end well, does it? As we've seen. Yes, that's not so good. Now, those numbers for Starbolt and Co are not going down as I would expect them to, but we're almost at Microtech according to that scanner. I think it's true we've got to change ship load out there. It doesn't matter because, I mean, we're just going to fly around. I'm not going to do anything trying to do in particular. So we are moving. Oh, it's because Starbolt's got a faster ship, so he's ahead. I'm slowly overtaking periscopes. Look, I can see that. Look, we've got a faster ship than periscopes. Just. I think my fast quantum drive got eaten by the patch. Oh, did it? Oh no, did it? Oh, so maybe I'm running on a slow quantum drive. Well, that will save us a little bit of fuel. I was going to say it's taking a bit of time. Where's my vehicle maintenance? Will it tell me? Here? I can't do it in space. I suppose I could look it up on the MFDs, but never mind. Okay, anyway, we're coming into range, I think. Did I lock onto Starbolt? Oh, there we go. There's the planet coming into range now. Never mind. It's going to take us a little bit longer. But it's not like a super slow ship, this one, anyway. So that's okay. Now, we need to go down to a pretty part of the planet, obviously. So probably the best way to do that, actually, is going to be to fly straight down, I think. So let's choose an area that looks super pretty. So I think kind of straight down, actually. There's some nice valleys and mountains there. So I'm going to aim directly there. So let's go for full throttle, and we'll just head down to the surface. So if you can keep up with me, then do. Oh, that sounds like the Space T has arrived with the Space Wife sneaking in from behind. She can't sneak up on me anymore.
No, you can see me now.
Thank you very much, Space Wife, for the Space T.
Okay.
Yeah, so maybe I lost it. Anyway, so let's do an entry burn into the atmosphere, because this is probably the prettiest or most realistic, most Earth-like planet in the game, I think I'm correct in saying. So I'm going to fly down to those mountains over there just to kind of give you a view, because I just love this whole atmospheric transition thing. Now, this gives me a chance to whittle on about another subject, which is, of course, the seamless planetary landings. Right now, I must admit, yeah, so that was the actual real Space Wife. When Elite Dangerous was first being talked about, the idea of having seamless planetary landings, the transition from space to the planet's surface being one seamless thing with no loading screens, was kind of heralded as it's a must-have. You must have that. That's a non-negotiable feature for any kind of Elite game. Because the previous two Elites had it. Okay, the old 1993 Frontier First Encounters, Frontier Elite 2, and then 1995 Frontier First Encounters had seamless planetary landings on the 16-bit technology, right? So the new Elite Dangerous had to clearly have that as a design thing. And there we go. Look, we're actually getting entry effects here from Star System, which is cool. There we go. We're actually hitting the atmosphere. Which is great, right? That's what you actually want. Makes you feel like something's done. That's much better space effect than it used to be. Look, we're really burning up there, which is cool. And I can see another ship behind me, I think, over there, also blazing down through the atmosphere. There we are. So we've come through the entry effects. We're now hitting the lower atmosphere. That's Starboard 81 behind you. Okay, brilliant. And so now we can see a little bit more detail of the planet's surface. And you know, this idea of having seamless branches is a lovely thing, right? It really does add to the immersion, but it does make it a much more difficult game to play. And it's interesting to see that Starfield has basically said, no, we're not doing that. And I wonder if they've basically looked at it and gone, there's so much dev effort involved in doing seamless planetary landings that they're just basically, you know, looking at it and going, we're just not going to do that because it's too much like hard work. You know, and it is a complicated thing to manage, and I think a lot of the complexity and I suppose maybe the slowness of development. This is one of the things that contributes to games like Elite Dangerous and Star Citizen taking so long to reach development goals, is the sheer complexity of managing a game engine that could cope with space travel and surface travel and connecting the two together in a seamless way. I mean, the effects are spectacular. I mean, we've just flown down from space, and here we are, entering the atmosphere, coming down onto a planet's surface, which looks, you know, again, totally plausible and realistic looking. You know, it looks now at this altitude like we're flying over it in an airliner, right? It's just really nice. It's a wonderful thing to see, but it is a complicated thing to develop. And if you've got to do that for all the planets, you know, you're requiring something here that, you know, looking out the window here, this would not have been out of place in a flight sim, you know, 5-10 years ago at all. You know, it looks better. I mean, I've got a copy. I bought a copy of. I've got Flight Simulator 2020, for example, which is kind of state of the art for flight sims on the PC. And you know, but prior to that, I did have Flight Simulator 2002, I think it was, and you know, this looks easily as good as that did, but this is an alien planet, and I can fly into space as well, right? Did I turn the heating off inside? Sorry, apologies for that. So you know, we've just flown to, you know, between planets, and we're getting realistic surfaces and stuff here, and it just looks very, very nice. And you know, we know there's rivers and other things are coming as well. So it's just, you know, we've got some lovely valleys here. There's a snow mountain range over there. You know, all that sort of stuff. But I'm just going to land down here because it looks like a nice little flat spot, just to sample the feeling of landing on a planet. Which again is something that Star Citizen does really, really well. Just because I can. Just looks like a nice spot for a picnic. In fact, just about over there, I think near the trees. Let's put the undercarriage down. And the fact that you can do this, you can fly down from space, and then just gently drop your ship down on the surface. There we go. Ooh, tiny bit more thrust. There we go. There's a couple of dead trees, but oh, something's blown over the trees here. That's interesting. I haven't seen that before. Oh, there's a bit of a hill there. I'm going to fly forward slightly. Could be landing at a slight cockeyed angle, but never mind. There you go. We can make touchdown on an alien world. Yeah, that is just still, to me, that makes my, you know, maybe a nearby ship crashed or something. Who knows? You know, it's the sort of thing you want to go out and find out. Let's just secure the engines for a minute. Let's just have a wander outside because you can, right? Yeah, this is what's still so staggering about this game is I can get out of my pilot seat. I can go to the back door with the guys, and there probably a few other ships will land when they find us. And you know, atmosphere and weather permitting. If we can get there we go. Look, here we are. Looks like other folks around. Look, and there we are. We're stepping out on. Oh. Not sure what happened. Um, I stepped out on an alien world and I'm okay again. I don't know what happened there. Did I fall off something? Or did the ship attack me? I don't know what happened there. I got... Well, it looks like my ship isn't entirely stable on the ground for some reason. Okay, so this... So it's not without its flaws, Star Sisters, right? Maybe the wind got me. It is a bit blustery, as you can see. It's not the best weather here on Microtech right now, but how badly was I hurt? Doesn't look like I was hurt too badly. I tripped over a shrubbery. What I need is a shrubbery. We need to be careful with our ship. I feel, but let's take a moment just to look around. There's plants, and the vegetation here is done, I think, rather well. And there's a crashed tree there, which looks like the sort of thing that you just encounter on the surface. And most of this stuff is procedurally generated as well. It's clever stuff. And other spaceships landing around here, so we can kind of have a show your ship competition and all that sort of stuff. There's rocks and fauna. The ground is sand. And there's footsteps there that I can even. This is. I mean, the whole Armstrong moment was lampooned mercilessly in the Elite Dangerous community. But there I am leaving my footprints on. I know this isn't an alien world because plenty of people have been here before me in the lore and in the game. But I'm still leaving my footprints on a world here, which is a very cool thing to be doing. The Star Sisters experience, yes, it is 50% incredible, 50% buggy as all buggery. That is a problem. There's definitely an issue with my ship, as you can see. Top Shot is wisely staying inside. I don't know whether my ship is being blown over by the hurricane force winds. Periscopes is probably wisely staying up in the air. So all the other ships seem to have settled okay. So I'm not quite sure why mine is having problems, because it was landed safely, but I think getting back on it is going to be fun. I'm going to have to time that rather well. So not sure what's going on. The ramp might have whacked me a bit before that. So how am I going to get back onto my ship? I'm going to have to time that, aren't I? When it comes down, I'm going to have to jump and hope for the best, I think. So something's not right. I cut the engine. I did switch the engines off, didn't I? I'm pretty sure I switched the engines off. Top can reposition. So, so top. Maybe you could, Top Shot. Maybe you could take the ship up and put it back down somewhere quickly for me. If you wouldn't mind doing that, that might not be a bad idea. Because it doesn't seem to be. It seems to have the. There we go. Top Shot. Look, so this is another thing that's amazing. I'm going to just make sure I don't get crushed underneath my own ship. That would be slightly embarrassing. But look. I've stepped off my ship, and another player can get on my ship and fly it off. And obviously I have to trust Top Shot, because otherwise he's going to pinch my spaceship. But I'm not sure that ship over there is landing in quite the right angle either. But there you are. Top Shot seems to have landed it successfully now. So maybe I didn't switch the engines off. So that's the thing. But just look at that. That's going out. Now the weather has cleared a little bit. It's a lovely landscape. The spaceships look a little bit weird parked in the middle of this kind of foresty kind of area, but it works, right? It's just so neat. The spaceships can all just hang around here, and we can kind of chill and it'd be nice to have a little bonfire or something. I think it's probably a little bit too chilly. It's minus 9 degrees centigrade outside at the moment, so whilst it looks nice, it's not actually that warm. It's sort of like an Arctic climate. But it looks fabulous. There's blue sky. It looks like a glorious day here on Microtech. It's just really, really good. Are we getting the vehicles? I want to keep moving, I'm afraid, because there's more eye candy to see. So let's keep flying on and going to see different stuff. So we will prep for flying to different places. Now, I'm just trying to think. This is an amazing place. It is a very pretty place. But I do want to keep going around the different moons and the different places as well, just seeing stuff. We took the biggest ships for a sightseeing. Yeah, I know it's quite good. Actually, Top Shot, would you mind? I'm just looking at Top Shot here. Hopefully, you won't mind us. Would you mind flying the Cutty Sark up into space for me? And I'm just going to hang around here by the side window. So look, there goes Top Shot because he can hear me on the Discord. And I'm just literally going to stand and watch the takeoff. Okay, this is like it's like a helicopter, but it goes into space. I just love this thing. There's Lumsey's running past the door. And here we go. Look, the ship takes off because Top Shot is flying it. Hopefully. There we go. So there's the thrusters have just gone to vertical mode. The back door is open at the moment. It doesn't be taking off just yet. Closing the cockpit at the back. Starboard's flying alongside us. Are we going up? Just waiting for Lumsey's. Okay. Oh, here comes Lumsey's. The back door is closed at the moment. Is Lumsey's in the ship? So I can't see from inside here. Okay, now that we're angling up, and obviously the star system universe has anti-gravity, so it's a slightly disconcerting view. There we go. Now we're going up. The shadows work, and wow, you get that real sense of lifting off the ground, just like a helicopter. It's just really, really cool. So you're flying up there. There goes. Look at the vertical thrusters changing. So all that's under Top Shot's control as he's flying the ship, and then we blast off across the mountains, and I can watch this all from inside. I'm going to have to be a little bit careful because if there are any violent manoeuvres, I could get chucked out of the ship. So hopefully Top Shot will be flying carefully. So it's artificial gravity, yeah. So there's it's locking me into place, but it's not immune to inertia effects, which is pretty cool. We've got some amazing looking clouds as well. That's relatively new in Star Citizen for all of the eye candy. But look at that. In fact, I'm going to go over the other side, open the window, open the door there, so we can look out the side. Depending on which way Top Shot is banking the ship, it just looks insanely good. I love this ability to kind of get that real close and personal feeling with the spacecraft. You can see the shadows of the other ships there on the ground, and I can also use the turret. Yes, I could pop into the turret, couldn't I? That's probably a good place to be. Periscopes is still down there where we took off from, so you can see where we were sitting on the ground. And you've got the haze into the distance. That's all correct. It looks realistic. It's really, really pretty. So just like you say, just enjoying the eye candy in this game is just a glorious thing. Let's pop up into the turret. So this is again another thing that you can get into different parts of the ship and just have a look around. So I'm going to pop into the turret. There we go. And from here I can look across the back of my ship and see where we come from, where we're going. Obviously we've got some pew pew. Which is great, and you can live out your whole Star Trek, Star Wars fantasies here, can't you? With the turrets, it's just insanely good. And then I can control that turret from here inside the, whilst the external view is on. I can move the turret around using the mouse, which is again just that's really good. It's just an amazing thing. I just need to find where's the exit out here. Power off. I don't want to power off because that will switch the ship off. Not sure it's a good idea having a kill power switch for the entire ship in the turret because I have accidentally hit that one and switched the entire ship off to the slight consternation of the pilot, let's say. So Top Shot is still there. So I can actually sit here underneath where Top Shot is sitting in the pilot seat and see what's going on. So the seats actually lift into position, which is pretty cool. Lumsey's is here as well. And you can see the mechanism by which it rises off the floor and goes into space. So it's just such a nice thing. All the interactivity in the ships just blows my mind every time I play this game. Right, so we've been looking here now. Suggestions for eye candy places to go here. Oh, the power off is only for the turret station, is it? I thought it was. I'm sure I've managed to switch the ship off. Crusaders, where we've been to, Stanton, Hurston obviously is quite an interesting place. ArcCorp with Area 81, the city planet, is quite cool. Hurston, of course, is an environmental dump, but it does. I tell you what, I would like to go to Hurston again and see the Savannahs. Could we go there again? Top Shot, are you able to plot a course to Hurston? I'd love to see those Savannahs again because they were just glorious places to chill out in, away from the, away from the mucky, mucky industrial mess that most of Hurston is. Oops. I've just fallen on the floor. See, it's modelling some inertia there. So when whatever Top Shot did there was too much for my legs to cope with in the artificial gravity, and I fell over on the floor, which is excellent. I'm going to crawl around on the floor for a bit because I can. Oops. There we go. Am I up? There we go. I'm up. And we're in quantum travel again, which is great. Heading to Hurston. We're going to head to Hurston now. If somebody knows how to get to the Savannahs, that would be a cool thing. Why am I saying farewell first time? Reason it's farewell rather than goodbye is because basically I'm moving house, Bosnerd 03, and I'm going to, due to the nature of where I'm moving to from England to Scotland, I'm having to go into rented accommodation temporarily in the interim, and I'll, my internet connection will be interrupted, my stuff will be in storage, and I don't know exactly how long that's going to be for. So I'm sort of basically drawing a line in the sand this week, effectively, and sort of Saturday and Monday. So I'm stopping streaming temporarily. I intend to come back, but because I can't predict exactly when, I'm stopping now, and then I'll keep you posted as to what the plans are, if that makes sense. And I can't do the streaming how I want to at the moment because, for example, I've had to pack my green screen and various other things, and the room is too echoey now, and everything's not quite right. But I wanted to keep going for a little bit longer. But yeah, so the plan is certainly to resume the streaming at some point, but I don't know when it's going to be. Right. My Scottish money will be worth less than the English one. Don't worry about that as well. Well, the good news is fortunately my English house will be worth more than my Scottish one. So actually that's going to be a bonus. It's going to take a while to get established and get sorted. So, and it's one of those things we're moving. Dare I say it? At my age, probably for the last time. That sounds a bit morbid, doesn't it? So my kids have left home now. I'm that age. My kids have left home. It's me and my wife. I'm taking my mum with me because she's my dear old mum is in her 80s now. So we need an annex. So we've got to find the right house in the right place with the right stuff in it. There's a lot of kind of requirements that we need to tick off. And if you're moving with a plan that you're never going to move again, probably you kind of got to get a lot of things right, haven't you? Or at least have the potential to get everything sorted out. So it's going to take a bit of time to figure out what we want. That's why we want to move into rented accommodation. So we're not like we've got to buy the next house really quick. We're actually kind of looking for something as close to possible as perfect as we can arrange. So you don't want to rush that experience. And that's basically it. Jump now. So no, I'm not going to jump yet. No, let's go and look at the Savannahs on Hurston, because that I remember thinking, wow, what a pretty place that is. So after we've seen that, where are we? It's 5:25. We've got plenty of time to for me to try and commit suicide at the back of that thing. What's the rent like over there? Well, it's not cheap. Let's be honest, it's not cheap. But my plan is that I don't have a very big mortgage on the place that I am here, and the value of my house has sort of tripled in the time that I've owned it. So at the moment the plan is that we sell this place and then we stick all the cash that we effectively get. We pay off the mortgage for a start, which means my outgoings will be minimal. We stick the cash in the bank, and I'm hoping that cash will generate enough interest for me from the bank or the investment or whatever, that I can live, that will pay for the rent, mostly anyway. Am I a multi-millionaire? No, I'm not even a 1 millionaire, alas. But my wife and I live relatively simply, and we won't. The beautiful thing about this is we're not. The kids are pretty much now independent. So my eldest son has got a job. His girlfriend's got a job. They're moving into their own place. My youngest son is currently at university, but his girlfriend's got a job and they've moved into a flat. So they're kind of off our hands at this point in our lives, and that means that we can basically just focus on the two of us pretty much, and we don't need too much stuff, right? We're relatively simple guys, so as long as I get my tea, I'm happy, right? I don't need too much, and my ambitions are relatively modest. I don't want to own a yacht, and I don't want to be I don't want to have a high flying lifestyle going here, there on a private jet or anything like that. I just want to have a nice kind of pleasant country existence, and I'll be able to write my books and do things. So my requirements, I think are relatively modest. So I don't need to have too much money to support that. What I'm hoping for is that we can live pretty simply. I'd like to get into some, it might sound a bit weird, but I'd like to get into some sustainability stuff and set some solar panels up and maybe do some micro power generation, all those sort of things. So you might see some blogs about that sort of thing in the future too. But wherever we end up is basically we want to end up there until such time as we're so old and doddery that we can't cope with anything. The next stop after this house will probably be the retirement home. So it's got to be the right place, and that's the trick. Which is a bit of a funny way of looking at things, but there we go. Right, we are now in orbit of Hurston, I believe. It's a bizarrely hazy planet. Look at all the pollution, which is really cool. Now, I don't know, does anybody, Top Shot may know this, so if you do Top Shot, then feel free to take the initiative and fly us down to a Savannah area. But there is a technique to getting to the Savannahs, which I must admit is a little bit obtuse. I can't remember how to do it, but I'm going to trust Top Shot knows what he's doing. So if we can head down to a Savannah perspective and just chill out on the nice, pretty bits of Hurston, that would be awesome. I can see some little stretches of water there, which is quite nice. We're heading down to the surface, I can see that. So we'll see where we end up. Will we end up somewhere nice and pretty? That's basically what I'm after, is pretty. Okay. Top Shot's been given the location. Fantastic. Well done, guys. Okay, so we'll see. Oop. I've just fallen over again. Poor old Alessia is not having a happy day inside the spaceship. There we go. I'm back up again. I suppose I should really be sitting in the passenger seat. Let's do the co-pilot seat. General Fredo, I have to go soon. Farewell, Drew. Have a good move and hope to see you soon online again. We'll keep SC from dusting up in the interim. Cheers. And enjoy the space beers. Yes, of course, space beers. We have to think about that. Myron Toxin's just suffered from a 30k. Oh, no, not good. Well, we're coming down through the atmosphere here, which is obviously very pretty. I do love these volumetric clouds they've put in recently. Very flight sim, which is nice. Okay, Drew, suggestion for the alternate plan. Before the stream ends, ask Funny to lend you the Lynx rover and jump from the ship with the vehicle. I do want to jump out in quantum travel, because that's a thing. So maybe somebody can come rescue me if I do that. That would be quite cool. Do a space rescue on stream. That's quite a cool thing. So is this a nice part of the planet? It's looking a little bit barren, but crash in style. Yes, that's the thing. In the ship. The atmosphere does look heavy and polluted, doesn't it? It's very dramatic. I like the little contrails we're getting as well from the leading edge of the wings there. Oh, there's a base down there. Okay, so this bit of the planet isn't covered in debris, which is something. There's a little base down there. There we go, looks like we're landing here. I hope the weather's okay, because when the weather is good. This is actually quite a pleasant place. You can see some storage containers and stuff down there. There we go. Looks like we're actually going for the pad. Nice. Is that some wrecked ships in front of us? There is, isn't it? Clunk. Excellent. Let's pop out here. Thank you very much, Top Shot. That was a good piece of flying. Let's open the back door and see what everything is like, shall we? There we go, look. See, we're just on yet another incredible looking planet. I just love the way this game looks. Is that some green? I haven't seen these before. Some green, low-lying plants. Look at them. Those are quite nice. They're like big succulent plants. That's pretty cool. And then sort of cactus things over here. It's just nice. The Top Shot's going to refuel. Okay. Oh, and there's a Mercury Star Runner over there as well. That was nice. So I love the variety of, look at the different varieties of plants. So there's some really big cactusy like things. They look quite dangerous, don't they? And then these ones over here, which are, there's quite a variety of plants just in this small area. Look, you've got different variety of cactus there. Then these things, and then these kind of tall, pointy things. I mean, just the sense of being on an alien planet is really, really good. Look at the detail there. I mean, they've done a lot of work with the graphics on this, haven't they? They do look really, really nice. There's another set over there. Look, some more ships coming in. I love the way you can see the ships flying in where you're tromping around on the ground. That's quite a thing to see as well, isn't it? Nice. And then there's some rocks over here. It just looks good. And this, oops, apart from the fact I landed in it, I don't know if I'm able to climb on those ones. I might be able to if I choose my, there we go. Nope. There seems to be some surface collision detection problems there. I can't actually jump on them. I can fly through the rocks, that's quite weird. Yeah, so I should be a bit more careful because, of course, in any sensible space game, now this rock doesn't has this collision. Its surface detection isn't working. It seems to be a visible space rock. Yeah, in any any decent science fiction novel, one of those plants would have eaten me by now. But I'm just curious to see the variety of things that you see in just even a short distance is cool. These look like kind of baobab trees, don't they? That's got a nice, lovely bark texture and stuff like that. It's just nice. Now, I mean, that sort of stuff wouldn't be out of place in any game where there's a realistic environment, right? But this is a planetary surface. It's not just a map or a level in a game. It's a planetary surface, which is a totally different thing. Wreckage of the Mercury. Let's go check that out because it's always nice to see bits of damage. And look at the sky. I mean, it just looks fabulous. I mean, dark and gloomy and rather overcast and polluted, but still an interesting vibe. And even this tangled weed looks quite good. It's got little leaves on it and stuff. It's just feels like a sort of weird, not very interesting scrubland that you would find on some sort of abandoned planet. I like the way that life on this planet is still trying to hang on despite the overwhelming pollution of the of the landscape. It's definitely got a vibe to it. Top is bringing a Drake vehicle for you. Ah, brilliant. Yeah, so apologies for those of you going, what's happening? Is Drew leaving yet another space game? Is the cry that keeps going up. It's farewell because I do intend to come back to streaming as soon as I can, but I'm moving, so all my stuff is being packed up. The house is going on the market actually next week, literally next Monday, and so if we get a buyer quickly, it could just be all hands to the pumps, right? So I can't afford to not have my time available, unfortunately. So, hence drawing a line in the sand for the end of streaming for now. But yeah, it's not the end; it's just farewell for now. Okay, could be, but it could be a while. It'll probably be several months. Look, there's a constellation. That's not the Phoenix one. Is that an Aquila? Oh, there's Top Shot with a buggy. Never go wrong with the space buggy. There's a lot of cool ships here actually, which is quite nice. It's just like Thunderbirds, isn't it? In fact, you can drive things in and out and play around with. Oh, what happened there? There's Top Shot jumping out. So what is this? This is a cool looking little buggy. Oh, there goes the spaceship. Who's flying that? Is that periscopes? Anyway, it looks cool. So I'm gonna try. Can I try this one? Into driver's seat. There we go. I love the way these mechanisms work. It's just Thunderbirds. Okay. It's just really nice. Let's go for a little drive in this. Okay, so is it working? Yeah, it is. Okay. Oh. There's a spaceship there. Be careful. Let's have a look outside. Look at that. Where's the down ramp? So what's this little? No, it moves cargo boxes around. Okay. Where's the ramp? There it is. Is that the down ramp? Yeah. I love the 6 wheels. I tell you what it reminds me of. This is the banana splits car, isn't it? Who remembers who's old enough actually to remember the banana splits? With the whole 1 banana, 2 banana, 3 banana, 4, that stuff. It reminds me of the little vehicles they drove around. At the beginning of the intro sequence, I can just see the banana splits. It's quite nice and manoeuvrable little thing. I like that. 6-wheel drive. 3 little words. There we are. 6-wheel drive. That's more to the PTV than the banana splits buggy. Yeah, la 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 la. Simpler times, my friend. Simpler times. It's fast though. Look, it really shifts. I like this. This is a good machine. You can definitely have some fun in this. Particularly, there was a really almost invisible. Yeah, you can definitely have a race around here. It's not quite as manoeuvrable as that one, but it definitely moves. See, the future is bright. The future is electric cars. We can have a lot of fun driving around here. So there's my ship with the wreckage of that other one in front. Is that Mercury Star Runner crashed, or is it just sort of sitting there? Just conscious we've still got to have some space beers, and I've got to chuck myself out the back of a ship. This is very good. Just driving around here. Chuck the rocks, chuck the cactuses. It's a great little ship. It's a great little buggy, isn't it? Can we get some air? Yes. So there's all sorts of used to be okay. X81 ones. Oh, these little sensor posts or whatever those are really annoying because you can't see them until you hit them. Well, there's my ship. I'm going to be a bit more circumspect now. Let's go and check out the remains of this. Oh, it is. Look, it's the wreckage of. That's pretty cool. Let's get back in. Let's check this out. Where is deploy? What that is? Where's the exit button? Never get in a spaceship you don't know how to get out of. Power off. Open door. There we go. It's not safe to be a pedestrian right now. There we go. Thank you. Let me get out of the ship. There we go. Perfect. Let's just check this. This is a wreckage of a ship, which is again a nice thing to be able to sort of tool around with. All the internal panels. Presumably we could salvage some of this with the new salvaging mechanics. Guns and things lying about. That's very cool. You can actually get inside the. I don't know how safe that looks. Looks like one of those things that should have a sign on it. Not safe to go inside. It's just a burnt out wreck of the inside of a ship, isn't it? But that's a cool thing to be able to see. Yeah, exposed wiring and a few other bits and pieces left. That's quite cool. That Mercury Star Runner over there. Oh, so that one's busted as well. Or is that the same? Is that just the wing of the Star Runner over there? Because that whole wing there has been ripped off. Look, that's quite cool. Let's just have a quick look at that. And this is the thing with this game. There's always something just to go and have a look at. Yeah, the whole side of the ship has been ripped off, which is quite cool. Is the back? You can't actually get into the back, I don't think, from that angle, because unless you can get into it from the front, you can have a look at what the inside of the... Yeah, so this side's been ripped off as well. So whatever happened to this poor Star Runner was pretty damn devastating, wasn't it? Oh, there's a bit of the hangar bay. Very clever. So yeah, salvaging derelict ships and etc. 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 Anyway, we must keep moving. We must keep moving. Right, where's my cutty snark? To the ships, my friends. To the ships. All aboard the ships. I've got to. I'd really appreciate if somebody can rescue me. Have we got a plan for space beers, by the way? Oh, look, so Top Shot's put the mule on board the ship. Excellent. So anybody who wants, if Limsace is coming aboard my ship again, then feel free. But I'm going to have to chuck myself. We have multiple backups for space beers. You can now take those guns and attach them to your tool. Wow, that's quite good. We can use the 898 bar and scoop. That's a good idea. Let's do that. Space gin. So okay, so it's one of those things I've always wanted to do. Okay, so I'm going to take my ship up into space. I'm hoping that Dr. Quest ND with his trusty 890 will follow me up into space. I'm going to quantum travel somewhere. It doesn't really matter where, does it? As long as we quantum travel to the same space, and then I'm going to chuck myself out into space, because it's the one thing in Star Citizen that I haven't actually done. I want to see what happens. Funny Asteroid has space beers as well. This is all the important stuff. Right, let's get up into space. We've got a quarter of an hour or so. Engines are on. Top Shot has refueled the ship. Thank you very much for that. And it's time to get ourselves off the ground. So, minimal thrusters. Let's get mode. There we go. Let's get ourselves off. So well done, guys, for coming here. That was a nice little location, that was actually. Just going to angle up and we'll thrust up in the atmosphere and watch the other ships underneath as we take off. So these guys will catch me up, I'm imagining. There we go. So guys, just follow me up into space. As long as it's not quantum linked travel, otherwise I'm going to be splattered on the front windshield of the next ship. Hopefully it works. So there we go. We're going to attempt a space rescue, so this could be quite good fun. We need space change. We might need something even more than that, more space stuff. Let's get out of the atmosphere though. It's a pretty thick and polluted environment. I like the way you can fly up through it though, and then you get away from the pollution and all the muck down at the bottom. That's just really nice. Right, let's do this. Let's do this thing. This is one thing I haven't done in Star Citizen yet. Is chuck myself out of a spacecraft at quantum travel speeds. Now, how fast? For those of you who know the law, how fast is quantum travel? It's presumably multiple times the speed of light, isn't it? It has to be. To be getting across the solar system at that speed. I don't actually know how fast it is, but I've got this image of Drew's face blunt on the falling ship's cockpit. It's 0.2 C. Is that all it is? Okay, I kind of figured it'd be faster than that. I thought it was multiple fractions of the speed of light. Now, speed is determined by the class of. So, what's the maximum quantum travel speed you can obtain? Is it not actually light speed? Citizen Tiparia says it's 0.2. Okay, so that's interesting. So it's fast, but it's not like crazy fast. And I suppose it depends on the size of the solar system, doesn't it? So presumably the solar system here is pretty compact, because in our solar system, well, I think about it. So in the Earth's solar system, travelling at light speed would get you to the Sun from the Earth in 8 minutes. So 0.2 of light speed would be 5 times as long. So what's that? 5 times 8. That's sort of 40 minutes, isn't it? But the solar system here is got to be that much. So that is supposed to be the max, 0.2. Okay, so we're not actually at light speed, so that's something, I suppose, that might give me out. Right, where should we go? I think we'll head to we'll head to ArcCorp, because we haven't been to ArcCorp today. So I'm going to head to ArcCorp, and then halfway along that route, I am going to chuck myself out of the ship. Because let's do this thing. All right. There's ArcCorp. Go engage the quantum drive. Here we go. Okay, so how do you guys find me? Given that I'm being really stupid here and chucking myself out of the ship, how are you guys going to actually find me floating in space? Because presumably I'm in my suit, and as I fall out of the ship's quantum bubble, I have a marker device. So I'm interested here. Do I walk out of the ship facing backwards and sort of see what happens, or do I walk out of the ship facing forwards? What do you guys recommend? I'm quite interested to see what happens if I walk out backwards. Actually, does the ship sort of disappear into the distance? Anyway, it's time I did my thing. Let's do this. Right, I need to get out of my seat. Here we go. Right, so the ship is doing its thing. Don't wait too long, though. That's right. So where are we in space? We're getting across, yeah. Okay, so let me get into position. Limsace and Top Shot are going, really? Great. I don't know, shall I walk out backwards? Or forwards, do you think? I feel like I should just take a running leap out into space. Shall we do that? Let's do a running leap out into space. So I'm gonna get back here. I'm gonna make a running leap. Are we ready? do a countdown. Here we go. Right, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Geronimo! Oh, it just literally fell out. Doom. Okay, so now I am literally. Oh, so that's it. I'm literally floating in space. So where did my ship literally disappeared? It was I was feeling there should be some sort of weird turbulent kind of effect as I tumble out of quantum travel, but nothing happened. So literally, I'm here in space. Starbolt's coming to rescue me, which is excellent. Was a tiny bit anticlimactic, but it was pretty cool. I mean, I suppose that's what should happen, right? Who's closest to me? Okay, so people are on their way to rescue me, which is very cool. Because literally, I'm nowhere, am I? I am just in space. Finding Astro might be the last one. Dr. Question D says we'll be in here. I mean, it's quite cool that you can come and rescue me from total stupidity. I'm hoping Top Shot and Co still have my ship. They can jump in and rescue my ship. We flew another 2 million kilometres, says Top Shot, before we switched the engine off. So hopefully none of these approaching ships run me over. Looks like Top Shot's coming back as well, which is cool. Now, what's it going to look like when is a ship just literally just going to appear out of nowhere? Oh, I can see a ship. There we go. Look, someone is coming to rescue me. Who is that? Because there's no ident marker on the ship. I can see a ship there, look, right in the centre of the display. Who is it? Is that periscopes? No, periscopes is there's another ship. There's two ships I can see now. Is that Dr. Quest MD? It looks like Dr. Quest MD. Top shot's only coming for the 890 in the bar. This is the way he streams in, not with a bang, but with a whimper. Yeah, look, there's Top Shot. Not Top Shot. That must be Dr. Quest MD and co. Except I can't see his ID showing up anywhere. Anyway, everybody, I think let's dock with the. Isn't that an amazing thing though? I can jump out of a spaceship and be rescued by another one. Now, in the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, of course, there was a. Oops. There we go. Oh, there is gravity here as well, so I can actually walk around. It's lowering the docking bay for me. Excellent. Nothing like a bit of royalty. Look, I'm literally standing in the middle of this gigantic pad. Now, which end of the ship do I go to? I can't remember. There's the doorway closing above me. God, it's just magic, isn't it? Good thing I have a helmet. Yes, indeed. There we go. I'm now inside the cargo bay. Do I go forward or back? I can't remember on this ship. This ship is so big. It reminds me of Douglas Adams. You know, the chance of being rescued by a passing spaceship. 2 to the power of 35,000 to 1 against the whatever it is. But I got rescued. Arthur Dent and Ford Prefect would be proud. Right, let's try this door. Is this the door? Oh, that's just the turret, so that's no good. I forgot my way around this ship. Here we go. Airlock. That sounds like the sensible thing to get myself out of. Right, okay, so I forget where I am. Well, there's the ballroom. Which way is it to the beers? Back to the left. Okay, it's such a big ship. I can't remember my way around. Okay, so here's the mess. It's such a massive ship. There's nothing on the telly. Where is everybody? Back to the left. Is it through here? I can't remember the layout of these big ships. That's the escape pods. See, I'd be useless in an emergency. Oh, here's somebody. Dr. Quest MD is here somewhere. We've climbed upstairs. Now, I mean, that's the rear cargo bay. Okay, I'll climb up here. I don't know where I'm going. You had the choice of several ships, including 2 rescue Pisces. Okay, well, thank you very much for rescuing me. That looks like Dr. Quest MD because he's always smartly dressed. Even though his name tag's not showing up. So thank you very much to Dr. Quest MD for rescuing me from certain death. Now I vaguely know where I am now. This is the ground bit now. As I recall, isn't a restaurant out to the front here? Are we continuing or stopping here? I think we'll stop here for beer. This seems like a good place. I mean, we started Star System on the ground. It only seems right that we should finish in space because. Where's the restaurant? Is it? That's the bridge up there, isn't it? I've lost Dr. Quest MD now as well. On my marker, where are you? Oh, there. Okay. Everyone, if you can dock, let me just go. I just want to have a look what's happening outside. So everyone bring their ships into visual range of Dr. Quest MD's amazing mega barge. I can see other ships outside the window. Is my ship out there? There's Top Shot. Has brought my own ship back, which is very cool. I'm glad it's still okay. There we go. And there's Limsay's jetting across. See, this is what's amazing about this game. Look, we can do EVAs and stuff. There's the 2 guys who literally a few minutes ago were in my ship. I stupidly jumped out of it. There's Top Shot. I can actually wave at him out the window. yeah, we can do that thing in this game. The possibilities of Star Citizen are just so immense. They just need to push on and finish this damn thing. So it's going to be so much good fun. Now, so is the bar at the front of the ship? Yes, it is. Is this right? Yes, I do remember. There we go. So here's the bar. So everyone meet me in the bar. I'm going to just stare out the windows until you guys arrive, because the windows are cool. There's my own ship. So I'm standing here. There we go. Look, and here's all the ships that are kind of. Look at this. I mean, my ship isn't like a tiny little ship, but it's dwarfed by the 890, isn't it? And then the Hercules here. That's a big ship as well. There's some lovely, lovely ship designs. And then the tiny little vessels there, and you can actually see people EVAing out there. That's just really, really, really cool. What you can do in this game is just amazing. It's as close as you and I are ever going to get to kind of flying real spaceships. I mean, it's so immersive. The things you can do. Look, so I've literally jumped out of one spaceship. We've flown to several planets, landed on surfaces, flown around the galaxy. I've jumped out the back of a spaceship, been rescued by another spaceship, and can finish up by just having some beers at the bar. I mean, what else do you want from a space game, right? Here we go. Look, here is everybody. Looks like I'm being healed as well, or being given some drugs, which is great. Thank you very much, Starball, for giving me some drugs. That's really, really good. Now, hopefully, because the guys always provide. That's what's so good about the crew that's been accompanying me on my exploration of Star Citizen all these months, is that they always bring some space beers for us to consume at the end, which is really good. So it's time, my friends. It's time for space beers. Where are the space beers? There's little packets of peanuts, which is nice. Okay, so we've got some peanuts, but we really do need some space beers to go with the peanuts. So you can see the beer in front of the room. At the front of the room, where's the front of the room? Is that over here? It's normally that where Top Shot is. Where are you, Top Shot? Oh, over there. Right. Sorry, in the restaurant. Yeah, obviously. Oh, look, somebody's, did you see that? Somebody's bringing some space beers. They just dropped it into the cargo bay. It's being delivered. They're on their way over. So, okay, so ZX81 has the space beers in his ship. They've just literally been dropped into the cargo bay. So someone's now transporting the space beers down inside the ship so that we can join them on the ship. That is very cool. Well done, guys. And now the airlock is closing again. It's just glorious. The thing is, it's like, what did you do in your amazing space game? We just hung around and drank beers. That's what we do in real life. It's just amazing. This is such a classy spaceship. Look, see the place settings there, little glass, square plates, nice table. Not sure those chairs look awfully comfortable, but for a long meal. But there we go. It's the future, so they've probably got special super space padding for your space buttocks. Starbot on me could sit down there, look, for a nice romantic meal for two. Why not? Yeah. While we're aboard Dr. Quest MD's amazing mega yacht of a spaceship. It's very cool. So hopefully, okay, so I don't know who's bringing the beers, but I believe the beers will be arriving in the bar shortly. With a bit of luck. Are they going in the bar, or are they going into the restaurant? Who's bringing the beers? Is it Funny Asteroid who's bringing the beers? Because I can't see them on my map. Okay, Funny Asteroid is lost somewhere aboard the ship. Because it's such a big ship. So Funny is bringing the beers, but we're not quite sure when they're going to arrive because he's lost, because the ship's too big. It reminds me of the what's that from Spaceballs, when the chap's running through. It says, "If I walk, the movie will be over." So the space beers have yet to arrive. there's space wine over there. What looks like bottles of bubbly. So looks like Dr. Quest MD has got a bunch of stuff stashed away in the corner here. There's a bunch of wine and things, and serving plates. Look at that. There's bubbly and everything up there. Limsace is there. What's happened to Funny Asteroid? Do we think Funny Asteroid has actually just basically gone and pinched all the beers for himself? Where are the space beers being procured from? So, I have it on good authority that Funny Asteroid has a crate of beers and is en route to the bridge, but we haven't seen him yet. There it is. It's the crate of beers. He's made it. Well done. I'm not quite sure where the crate of beers is going to end up. I hope that's not going to scratch any of Dr. Quest MD's paperwork. I'm staying out of the way. There we go. I think that will do. So there we go. Right. So, presuming I open the crate and opening, and it says open. There we go. Right. So I'm just going to literally take a beer out, and there should be. I'm hoping. Oh, it says it's loading. The bar is too small for such a large amount of beers. Sorry for being late, it was a little difficult. Unfortunately, the beer crate isn't opening for me. Opening, storing as unavailable. What does that mean? It's not... It means someone has to open it, okay. Does it need to be unlocked or something? Because I can't... Okay, so who gets to open the crate? Because I don't seem to do it. Now, some people are getting beers out of it, so I'll place a beer for you. Ah, brilliant! Thank you very much, Dr. Quest MD. I shall look forward to my beer being placed. There's a beer there. Can I pinch that one? Oh, there's one on the floor. I'm going to grab that one. Maybe can I get to that one? Sort of picking a beer up. Just grab. There we go. Let's pick a beer up off the floor. There we go. I've got a beer. Excellent. I hope everybody else can get a beer as well. Dr. Quest MD has got one. A few other people have got one as well. So, yep, it's looking like beers are good. Excellent. ZX81 has got one. Lum says you haven't got a beer yet. You need to get yourself a beer. Top Shot doesn't have a beer yet. So we'll get in there. Periscopes has got a beer. I'm going to join Periscopes behind the bar because I think I need to salute you guys for all the hard work you've done. Oh, I need to take my helmet off. That's a very good point. Let me do that. There we go. I've got my helmet off so I can actually have a drink. That's very important. Has everybody got a beer? It's looking like we're all good to go. Okay, so anyway, well, what can I say apart from a huge thank you to the wide Star Citizen community first. Thanks for welcoming me in and giving me endless fun playing around with Star Citizen. To all the people who've been watching my streams and contributing, flying their ships and various other bits and pieces, to all the people who've helped me out, but a special high level thanks I think to my crew of stream coordinators and general advice givers and ship flyers and things. So in no particular order, but huge thanks has to go to Dr. Quest MD, Top Shot, Starbolt, Lumsey, ZX81, Funny Asteroid, General Failure, Periscopes, Brig Girton, ETA3, Europa 21, Galeris. Who have I missed out? Periscopes is here as well, so I think I did say Periscope. So there's been a crew, Drew's crew, I think, has accompanied me in these journeys across space, and it's been absolutely fabulous to have you on board. I really appreciate all the time and effort you guys have put into prepping beers and prepping spaceships and prepping transports and prepping locations and everything else that goes into having fun in this game, because there's a lot of prep that goes on to make these streams possible. And to be fair, I don't do any of it because these guys do all the hard work, so they literally deserve a virtual round of applause for all the sort of work that they've done on my behalf, so that we can have some fun and just enjoy what we're doing. Guys, thank you ever so much. It's been an absolute privilege, an absolute honour, and huge fun to be involved in this. And hopefully Star Citizen realises the potential of what we've had. But we've had huge amounts of fun despite all the wackiness, and sometimes because of the wackiness. Some of my favourite moments: dropping a nuke point blank range to see what would happen. That went well. How many small spacecraft can we cram in the back of a big spacecraft? Yeah, that was good. Getting drunk at the exhibition and all sorts of things. It's just been endless hilarity at times. It's been really good fun, and that's what these games are all about, isn't it? The multiplayer shenanigans that we can have. So thank you all ever so much. I will be back, I promise, but quite when, I am not so sure. But this beer here is very much for you, so I really do appreciate all your efforts, and thank you ever so much for joining in my space adventures. So here's to you, my friends. Cheers. It's been great. It has been great. Cheers, everybody. It's been fabulous stuff. What can I say? Like I say, I will be back, but right on Commanders, 07 Citizens, and everything else, we will be back. So keep my spaceship warm while I'm away from active duty, and I will hopefully see you. Hopefully we'll have more new stuff to play with. Maybe there'll be a new version and some other cool bits and pieces and various different things. We'll have to wait and see. Thank you very much to everybody who's contributed. It's been immense, so I really do appreciate everything you've done, from the ships to the shenanigans and everything in between. So great stuff, Commanders. I will leave you there with a fond farewell. I will be back, not quite sure where, not quite sure when, but I know we'll meet again some sunny day. Be good, Commanders. Thank you ever so much, and see you as soon as I can.